All right, guys, and we're live here on Phoenix 92.5 FM and Nerd to Know Media, YouTube, Spotify, all that good stuff. So how are you guys? How's everybody doing? How are you, Dave?
It's a great day for wrestling, everybody. Welcome back to the only show hosted by fans that don't hate wrestling.
Well, you were saying before we went on that Payback wasn't your cup of tea.
It wasn't my cup of tea, but I certainly don't hate wrestling because of it.
Fair. That's the main thing. Once you don't hate wrestling, that's the main thing. I did see someone talk about kind of go down that rabbit hole this week where they're like, oh, watching Raw, I'm having wrestling burnout, and I'm like, that's you shouldn't do that. Don't watch so much wrestling. Exactly, particularly modern wrestling, because nothing will burn you out faster than watching weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of content. It's just not good, particularly from the modern product, which is very, very, very trying at the best of times, but better than it's been. What have you thought about the Thunderdome now that we've had 2 pay-per-views during it?
I love the concept. I think it's great. I'm a big person who's huge into pyro and special effects. I love being able to turn the fans' monitors off so that you can turn that into just a giant LED board around the ring. I think a lot of that's really, really cool. I think there's a lot of risk involved with letting fans host a stream. I'm seeing more and more stories each week about stuff that's slipping through. I'm not sure how you fix that unless you put them on a delay. But if you put them on a delay, then how is it actual reacting? So that's something that the tech team needs to figure out with WWE. That or just fill it with all family members, quite frankly.
Yeah, I just think it's, I know they have an email block list, but that doesn't really seem to be doing anything. So have an IP block list, if you're going to block that IP away from, that's what I would do if I was in charge there.
The only thing that upsets me is I keep trying to sign up and I can't get into the Thunderdome.
Well,
tried multiple times.
Kenny Omega was apparently able to get into the Thunderdome.
Was he?
Yeah, he was there on SmackDown like last week.
That's
pretty good.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
So, yeah. Although stuff like that is harmless compared to some of the other stuff we've seen, which is like, reprehensible, really. When you, in the grand scheme of things, it's like, oh my god, what are you doing? But we did have a pay-per-view this week, and we were going to have Adam on this week, but he watches wrestling less than you, Dave. So
is that possible?
He wouldn't watch it at all. You just kind of go back to the past and watch pay-per-views.
Well, see, I do watch a lot. I do.
Right.
I'm very selective and very eclectic with what I watch.
But Adam is completely tapped out, so it would be unfair to ask him to watch the pay-per-view when he hasn't watched the product in ages. So
I wouldn't want to force him to watch a pay-per-view.
Particularly a modern pay-per-view. Like, we're going to force him to watch older stuff, but at least it's decent.
Oh, and it was his choice, too,
exactly.
which is great. And it's actually going to be, oddly enough, a timely and relevant subject.
Absolutely, because Brock Lesnar now is a free agent that we don't know where he is. What he's going to do.
No idea what happened. See, this is actually, Dave does follow the news a little bit.
You see that? That's why I can't do this segment, because you just watch a pay-per-view. I can only do it certain weeks. That's why it's a treat,
I've been paying a bit more attention to the news because I'm trying to figure out where my guy is. The heck's going on? Where is AJ Styles? What is happening? He wasn't at SummerSlam. Neither was Jeff Hardy. He was not at Payback, even though he was featured heavily in all the advertisements for Payback. And now
I can tell you where he was. On SmackDown.
Well, I know he's on SmackDown.
That's where he's on SmackDown, so you can watch him on SmackDown.
No, but apparently, is that going to be true? Because now Heyman's on SmackDown, and there is quite a beef to be had there.
Well, what looks like is going to happen is, because the Fiend now is pretty much jobbed out to Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns is like the guy. The Fiend is probably going to end up feuding with either Jeff Hardy or AJ Styles, and that's probably what's going to happen as the next biggest thing. And then to get the belt on the Fiend, because I think they want him to have a belt, just not the belt. So that's probably what's going to happen. So
it's a possibility, but I mean, I know that AJ really wants to work with Edge. Maybe it's time to flip him over to Raw again.
He was on Raw, and he didn't want to go on Raw because Paul Heyman was there.
Yeah, but now Paul Heyman's on SmackDown.
Oh, that's fair. That's a fair point.
Flip him back over. And for those of you who are wondering, why does Paul Heyman have anything to do with AJ Styles? For those of us that used to watch AJ's Mixer streams, I think he's on
Rip
Twitch
Mixer.
now. Yeah, rip. Apparently, Paul Heyman is the reason that the Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows, got the axe.
Yes.
And what makes it a bit more frustrating for AJ is Paul Heyman lied to his face about his involvement in it. And AJ has openly discussed it. He says he's moved past it and there's nothing he can do and that he's not unhappy in the company. But I don't know, man. I mean, it's rough not to see him used on pay-per-views. It's rough not to see his merch being pushed. It's rough not to see him being used in all the intros. I could, maybe you were right last week. Maybe this is time for AJ to head somewhere else. I'm not sure.
I think so. I think that's going to happen. You know, AJ seems like a man of principle. Obviously, he's a flat earther, so he doesn't really care what people think.
He is not. He just entertained the suggestion when somebody asked him on Mixer, can we put that to bed right now? Everybody knows the earth isn't round anyway. I don't see why this is a big issue.
By the way, we do a conspiracy podcast called From the Dark. New episode coming soon. Yep. But yeah, look, man, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if AJ was back in Impact soon or in AEW soon. Now, here's the thing. WWE don't want that. You know, the Brock Lesnar thing is obviously just a case for money where he's just trying to be the best negotiator he can and get a really good deal. AJ, I can more, see that happening where he's just like, look, I'm going, bye, so we'll have to wait and see what happens.
It's tough.
Dude, well, look, if you want to see him, just watch SmackDown every week. Actually, don't watch SmackDown because then the segment won't work. Just watch the AJ segments.
But that's what I do. I mean, I have my DVR set up to record it, but I mean, it just seems like he's having such stellar matches there. A month ago, we had his match against Daniel Bryan.
He's still having stellar matches.
He had a match against Jeff Hardy. Like,
he's still having good matches. It's just
he's having matches that are better than we're on the sham of a pay-per-view Payback.
Okay. Let's start there. Right.
Yeah, so let's get into it. Okay. So in case you all are wondering, yes, I'm a bit peeved today.
Okay. This is shocking for me, honestly, because I like this pay-per-view. Now, can I just say the three things that I liked about this pay-per-view?
Okay.
One, it was 2.5 hours, which was phenomenal.
They've all been since.
No, I love it though because it's like 2:30 in the morning. I'm like, oh my god, I can go to bed now. This is great. It's brilliant. Fair. I love it. It's nice and breezy. It's all quick. It's out of the way. The matches are fine. It was okay. Look, it was an 8 out of 10 for me, but that's not because it was good.
What are you talking about? It was an 8 out of 10 for like a SmackDown, not for a pay-per-view. I'm not going to let you finish. That's absurd.
It was an 8 out of 10 for me because of what it was. I didn't
5 out of 10, if that.
I didn't think this was a pay-per-view. That's the thing.
Right. So how are you grading it as an 8 out of 10?
I'm grading it as a super show.
You're comparing this to like Starrcade 95.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
That's how you grade a pay-per-view.
This wasn't a pay-per-view. This was a super show.
Well, the super shows are better.
Yeah. No, and the reason why I liked it is because I thought the matches on this were better than SummerSlam for the most part.
What?
Yes. I thought it was a better pay-per-view because the finishes made sense. We actually got resolution for things.
I'm not stopping you. I'm letting you continue. I'm just gonna listen to nonsense for a little bit.
So one, I enjoyed the speed of it. I thought it was nice and breezy. It was grand, right? I liked the matches overall until I didn't, and I thought what they did with Roman Reigns was very entertaining.
I like that. I first of all, I think yourself and myself were completely vindicated for saying that Roman Reigns turned heel.
Yeah.
Because all across the internet, people were mocking people saying that. And, we have a pretty good vibe on what's going on generally. We can tell where characters are heading and everything like that. Yeah. And I know you were a little iffy last week, but you did seem to be on my side. And I don't think there's any question at this point that Roman is certainly a heel. You can't be partnered with Heyman and not be.
Well, it's weird because it's like, it seems like he didn't really know how, like, the heel that we were expecting is not the heel we got, right? Because I like the way he came out at the end, like pretty much when the match was over, and signed the contract and then went in. I thought that was a cool little move. I know some people were saying that was goofy, but I'm like, no, it really adds to it. That
signing the contract made that a legitimate way to do that.
I thought that was great.
If he had already signed, then it would be like, this doesn't make any sense. Yeah, exactly. So I did like that. It was cool.
So I was like, that's actually a really clever way of doing it, But it's more like with Roman Reigns, I was kind of expecting him to come in with a chair or whatever, and
He
just
did.
no. But hold on, but the way he did it was interesting because he didn't initially use it. Like if he'll normally come out and beat the hell out of them when they're down and get the thing, he legit went for a pin. And then he's like, "Oh wait, hold on, I'm not cheating properly. Let me go out and get the chair." And that's what I thought was interesting.
Oh.
It's not the kind of sure of himself monster heel that we normally get, or like some guy that just doesn't care.
Well,
It was
actually,
just,
I felt he was sure of himself. I viewed that as a pure ego move. Like, "Ugh, I don't
oh
even need
really?
this chair. They're already down. I'm so good. I can just go in there and lay on them, and this is over."
Oh, interesting.
That's
Yeah,
how I interpreted
I
it.
suppose you can look at it both ways. I kind of looked at it as in the, oh, I'm not really sure how to do this yet.
Mm,
But actually, both make sense. That's what's so great about this heel turn. You can kind of really go anywhere with it, And I
yeah.
like the way the whole night, the way Paul Heyman kind of kept everybody guessing if he was going to show up, because obviously he was going to show up, but he's just like, oh, it's on my time, on my terms that I'm going to show up, not because you want me here, that kind of thing. Um, you know how I knew Roman Reigns was winning this, or how the Fiend wasn't winning this?
Because Roman Reigns was booked.
Well, aside from that, do you know what the big giveaway was?
What was that?
Bray Wyatt came out with the normal belt.
Oh,
Like last time when he won, they went through the trouble of giving him, and of course he probably has that at home,
they gotta
so he
have it
could have just got,
somewhere.
yeah. Like there's no way he got rid of it, but they didn't even bother letting him come out with that. He was just like, "Oh, you're literally keeping this warm for a week," like,
Interesting.
and I'm just like, "Oh well, there's no way." And Braun Strowman has no energy at all to him. I feel so sorry for him because I'm like, man, you're so bad. Like, it's
Well,
just,
the issue is he's such a nice human being.
yeah, it's like you're so bad, and you seem like such a cool guy,
Yeah,
but
that's the thing. Like,
you
I'd
know,
love to hang out with him. I think he's amazing. I
but
just,
it's so unfortunate because it's like you're in this position where you're not given anything, and what you are given is not great. But your role is to do this one specific thing, and it's not going to get you over. And he was put into that match for one reason, to take the pin, and that was it. That was the only reason why
yeah,
he was in that match.
yeah. Now, I thought he
Yeah.
did a pretty good job in the match, all things said.
Oh yeah, it
Um,
was a very decent match, I must say.
it was, it was brutal. It was what you expected from these two. I thought it was better than their SummerSlam match.
A lot better than the
Now, what did you
SummerSlam
think
match.
about the pin, not the pin, the ring break? Because we've seen this. This is the third or fourth time now that we've seen this effect.
I thought that, honestly, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, here comes Retribution. Retribution have done it, right? And then
There
what would
was no
have
retribution on this
there
card. That
wasn't,
confused
no,
me. I
no,
was so excited to see them for like the first time.
no. Antifa were too busy off burning the town or something down, so they couldn't
Yeah.
make it.
No, Portman
Um,
was too far away.
yeah, Portland's too far away. That's it. They missed their bus. Um, but yeah, no. When I saw that, I was just like, oh, okay, here comes Retribution, and then I thought they would have, that would have set up Roman Reigns' return. That's what I thought was going to happen.
As the
Um,
leader of Retribution,
yeah, and that would have
yeah,
made
something could
sense
have
as well,
happened.
right? 'Cause
Okay,
it's like, oh,
yeah.
this is my belt. I didn't lose it, so I'm leading these guys to kind of take over. But that didn't happen. So when he just walks out, it's like, okay, I guess the ring just broke.
It had a lot more impact the first time I remember seeing it, which was Brock Lesnar and Big Show.
Did
I
you
mean,
notice?
that was a holy crap moment for
Did you
sure.
notice? Did you notice the screen kind of shook a little bit, which was kind of cringy?
Oh, did it? Did they do a little camera shake?
Yeah.
Little camera
Here's what's
shake?
weird, right? When I'm watching wrestling in the Thunderdome, it feels like I'm playing the video game. Like I kind of get.
Yes.
Yeah, did you
Yes,
get
it
that too?
does.
I'm
Yeah, yeah,
kind of
yeah,
lulled
yeah.
into like the video game aspect of it, and I think the reason is because they're actually using the sounds from the video game for the crowd noise. From
You keep
2000.
saying that there, but they swear it's the actual sounds from the people at home.
Someone did a video. I'll try to find it and link it. But it's from 2K18. Apparently, that's the one they're using. But it's weird
Okay.
when I'm watching it. I'm kind of lulled
Yeah,
into
because
this
why
sense
use
of
2K19? Let's just keep styles out of everything.
at least they should use 2K20 and break the whole thing, because that game is just
Then the ring would
hilarious.
break every
Exactly, everything would break all the time. Um,
match.
yeah, but look, it's weird. So when that happened, I'm like, I really feel like I'm playing the video game now. Like, really doesn't
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
real. It's much better than the Performance Center, like by a country mile. But
Oh
it's
yeah, and
still,
I
it's
still think
very.
the Fiend's entrance is the best thing going
Oh yeah,
on
that's
in
great,
right
and
now.
I look. It even looks kind of better with all the LED stuff there, so they can kind of do more with it. But I like the beginning of this match where Braun Strowman just shows up and starts beating the hell out of him. It's like, well, I'd be upset too. So
Yeah,
it's just it's
that
like at
worked
least it
for
made
me.
sense. Yeah, like the way the whole thing was put together made sense. It was a very physical match. Braun Strowman wasn't as dumb as he was at SummerSlam, where he tore the ring up and basically beat himself. And look, it got Roman Reigns over. I think this Roman Reigns, he needed this. He needed a bit more of a change. What I would say is, and what I'm
Still no
hope,
vest. I want to point out, still no
still no vest,
vest.
but he's not fully there. So what I would say is now get new ring gear, which you're halfway there. Get a new team, and really get yourself away from the Shield and strike out on your own. And then he can actually kind of go it alone rather than hanging on to some of those vestiges because he doesn't need them anymore. He never really needed them. And yeah, I think we have the real coming out party of Roman Reigns. Like this is what will make him. The problem is who's he going to feud with? Because he can't like Bray Wyatt is probably the most over character that they have in WWE now. So they're probably
Yep.
going to get him away from Reigns very quickly, and that's what I'm saying. You'll probably see him in the IC division fairly soon.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff
So
Hardy would be a good opponent because nobody's ever more over as a face than Hardy.
yeah, but like long term, because again, like you have to start feeding stuff to Roman Reigns as well. And he has to have something. He has to have a face to go up against. And yeah, you have Jeff Hardy, but that's it.
That's it.
There's no one else. Like there's,
And they fired everybody else.
yeah, they fired everybody else. Now, what probably will happen is the draft will come. Well,
That has to come.
yeah, well they have Matt Riddle, but I don't think Riddle's there yet, and you don't want to feed him right to Roman Reigns, so he smashes through him and kills him, and that's it.
No,
So
you gotta. But
you
this
gotta
is
kind
the
of work
hard
up.
thing. Like, how do you get? You have a younger crop of guys coming up that are kind of fantastic, honestly.
Yeah.
But you can't feed them right to Reigns. So I don't know. This is going to be a tricky one. Something I wanted to add in about him coming at the last moment. It reminded me of Brock Lesnar coming in at the last moment of Money in the Bank.
It also felt like Edge as well. It was a real Edge thing to do as well.
Yeah, so I like that. Well, I'm talking about as Heyman being the manager.
Oh,
I was like,
absolutely,
that's a nice callback to them doing that with Brock a couple years ago.
But yeah, it was just I don't know. I think that's what this was for. I think this is what they wanted. They wanted to have this because it's still
what you do.
The placement of it is still so freaking weird. Where like we had SummerSlam, and then we had this for no reason.
No
like,
reason.
No reason. It's like, well, here's another pay-per-view, which didn't feel like a pay-per-view. As I said, like nothing here felt big. It just kind of felt like a better Raw SmackDown. Actually, if this is what Raw and SmackDown was like every week, or if this was the only bit of wrestling we got, great. This format works. This 2.5-hour format, nice and airy, breezy one. Love it. Fantastic.
I mean, this is essentially. I mean, Raw is 2 hours and 20 minutes when you factor in commercials.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, yeah. So this would be great if this is what they did. Cool, man. But I just don't see that happening. I don't see them willing to go there. I don't.
Do you want to cover some of the rest of the cards so we can get away from just being the main event? Roman Reigns.
I don't know. I love the show.
I mean, yeah, I know you do. Okay, well, let's talk.
You hate the show. I don't know.
No, I didn't hate the show. It was just a glorified SmackDown. It wasn't a pay-per-view in my mind.
Can I say something that made me sad though?
Yeah.
I'm sad that Bayley and Sasha lost.
I mean, I'm not sad that I saw Sasha on my TV screen.
Fair. Also,
she is week by week. I don't know what has happened in the past, to me in the past couple months, but she's becoming more and more my favorite. I mean, next to Alexa Bliss, she is becoming more and more my favorite. Yeah.
By the way, did you check out that song by Bowling for Soup yet this week?
Alexa, I did not check out Alexa Bliss. No,
I
forgot. I'm gonna write myself a note right now because I totally forgot.
It's such a great song, honestly. It kind of captures everything. But
now what was with? Because I guess great, we're back talking about the stupid main event again. What was with her in the main event?
Right, she just shows up, she's just standing there watching it. It's like
it had no payoff.
It had no payoff. Exactly. And when I was seeing her there, I'm like, Okay, that's strange, but I guess she is kind of in the process of turning heel herself.
She was
So
doing the cute like Harley Quinn thing, so
yeah,
like that's a
I don't
heel
know.
character. Are we getting Alexa Bliss with Roman Reigns? I don't. I
Well, she's turned on, she turned on SmackDown, I believe. So it's
uh,
a weird one, but
this is why we
yeah,
don't fantasy book because we can't even figure out what the current booking is.
no, see, that's because it makes no sense. That's the problem. You can't book something that doesn't make any sense. Well, you can book something that doesn't make sense, but you can't unbook something that doesn't make any sense because it is
Yeah.
what it is. But look, yes, so Alexa Bliss was on the show, so again, that brought it up in my opinion. But
8 out of 10. Go screw
hate it.
yourself.
I was sad that Bailey and Sasha lost because I love Bailey. She's great. But what I did like is
I love that finish though.
the
Shayna
finish
Baszler.
was so good. The finish was great because it's like
Whew.
technically she made Bailey and Sasha beat each other, which was incredible. It's like that's
Well, a
really,
whole
really
theme
clever.
of the match was Sasha being used as a weapon against Bailey.
Yeah,
On
and that,
multiple
on multiple
occasions,
occasions.
I
Yeah,
used her as a weapon, and then it finished with Baszler using her arm as the choke point. And I
so
thought,
clever,
wow,
so
yeah, that
clever.
was actually great booking. So like,
Yeah,
kudos, well done. Now that said, why is Nia Jax in this company?
Nia Jax shouldn't be in any company because she's so dangerous. Like I don't mean in like like a wrestling. It's like no, the woman injures people, so it's like
I don't
why
get her. I don't get her
is
character. I don't understand
well,
why
like, you
she's
see her
tagging with Shayna
character.
and
Well,
she's
she's
wearing it. Why was she wearing Tamina's t-shirt? I'm so confused.
I think they want her to be the new Tamina,
What?
and they want you to kind of forget that it's not Tamina. That's what I hope anyway, because other than that makes no sense.
I don't follow anything you just said. That makes no sense to me.
Right. Shayna Baszler is the whole reason that thing exists, right?
She was the whole tag
Yeah.
team.
Nia
And then
Jax
the thing
can't.
at the end with them not being friends, clearly I don't watch the weekly programming, so I was like, what is happening right now?
Do you want me to explain it to you?
No, honestly, I don't.
Okay.
Bailey and Sasha didn't break up. Like
No.
what?
No. Okay.
We're
Right. So
supposed to. Like
so
that
so
was
Nia Jax has to be there, right? But they know she has a bad rep, so I think they're just hoping that people think it's Tamina. All right. That's what I think.
that's what you want. That's what
I thought what I want. That's what they want because it doesn't make any other sense otherwise. It's like, oh, that's
nobody's meaner
Tamina.
than Tamina. I've sitting there the whole time going, "Oh, Tamina's her tag partner," and then Shayna walked out. I was so
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah. So
Huh,
right, what they want
weird.
is they want the Bailey and Sasha breakup to happen, but obviously they're kind of going slow with it. So they're going with the
Slow.
shot.
This has been going on for like 2 or 3 years.
Man, they don't want to rush it, and that's fair because you
They
haven't
don't
gotten
want
anything
to
else.
rush it. They got to pull the plug at some point.
And they're working up to it. They're finally taking away all the
Roman
belts from
Reigns
all of them.
left, beat leukemia, came back, won his title again, and they're still together.
Man, you don't break up a good thing. It's come on. Look at the Rock and Sock connection.
They hated each other.
Yeah, well, there you go. It still worked. They eventually came around. It takes time, man. You don't want to rush stuff.
Speaking of things that are getting rushed that I'm not a fan of,
Dominic
Apollo
Mysterio?
Crews.
Oh,
No,
okay.
actually, I like that. We'll get there in a second. But Apollo Crews' new character.
Yeah, it's
I
pretty
don't.
bad. It's
I,
pretty bad.
Look,
Oh,
the
man.
cool thing about this pay-per-view is there's so many people on here that I saw wrestle in PWG, from Matt Riddle to Keith Lee to Apollo Crews. I mean, this was the independent promotion that I watched. That's not on a lot of people's radars unless you're really into the independent scene. It's where Excalibur came from. It's where a lot of the AEW guys come from.
Yeah.
And Apollo Crews is always this super duper athletic, and now they're making him bulk up. It's just not. I just this didn't work for me. This match didn't work for me. Bobby Lashley in general doesn't work for me. The New Nation domination is bizarre. I don't know what's happening.
There's a couple of reasons. See, Bobo is just thinking about who he's going to play golf against next. So Bobo doesn't know where he is most of the time. That's not his fault.
That's because Corbin White's not around. It's not really his fault.
Exactly. It's not his fault. He's just thinking, where am I going to play golf next?
Right.
That's all Bobo. That's all Bobo thinks about. Nothing else. Apollo Crews, on the other hand, well,
he's trying to keep his job, I guess.
Yeah, he's just been like, please don't fire me. No bully.
Yeah.
So, by the way, that's my new favorite hashtag on social media. No bully, please, no bully.
That's a thing.
Yeah, it's so funny. I think it's just hilariously cringe.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's my new favorite thing.
I did not watch Big E versus Sheamus. I skipped it. I
Oh,
watched, by the way, I watched
terrible,
this pay-per-view
terrible.
completely out of order. I watched the main event, then I watched Keith Lee, then I watched
Okay,
Matt Riddle, then I watched the Mysterios,
right.
then I
So,
watched
so
I did watch Bobby Lashley like last night live, and then I just fell asleep and said screw it.
no, it's weird because I started
Actually
watching.
got no, and this needs to be addressed. I actually got so mad when I looked the card up and saw that AJ wasn't on it that I turned it off after the first match and said I'll watch this for the show when I need to.
Man,
But I'm done.
come
I'm done for
on,
now.
come on. Yeah, you don't get upset over wrestling. That's half the problem. You got to make fun of it. That's the truth of it. It's the only way you're gonna be
No,
able
this
to
is why
handle
we have a show where we talk about
old wrestling.
old
Exactly.
wrestling, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So that I
And
had
this
this,
is
so I
why.
also could go back in time and then watch something incredibly entertaining.
Fair. So we'll move through this. So
Yeah.
big, like I actually watched the show live, right? But with Bobby Lashley, I went downstairs to get pizza, and then I came back up and the show was on, and they were halfway through Big E and Sheamus. I'm like, what the hell just happened? I was gone for like 5 minutes. I was like, what happened? Yeah, with Big E and Sheamus. So I don't know why Sheamus is dressing like a racial stereotype, like more so. He looks like an itinerant for some
Well,
reason.
I learned on
And I'm like, why? What's going
SmackDown
on?
of May 24th, 2011, that the WWE does not do stereotypes, according to William Regal. So I don't know what you're talking
Well,
about.
they do, because this is what they have Sheamus walking around like. It's like, man, what's going on? Like, this is like a 1950s, 1940s itinerant, man. It's like, come on, man, this is not okay. But anyway, so Big E came out and he cut a promo saying, oh, I don't have to be serious to win matches, and then he proceeds to be serious to win a match. It's like, okay, guess that makes sense.
Oh, Big E, I don't know. I didn't watch
Big
it.
E,
I have no opinion.
so Big E's whole thing is he's in a single push now because the New Day are all injured, and everyone's saying, "No, you need to be more serious to win a match." And his whole thing is, "Oh no, I can still be myself." But the whole match is him being serious, and he wins the match. It's like, well, that doesn't even make any sense, like at all. Matt Riddle and King Corbin, not a very good match
It was
at
fair.
all.
It was
It
fair.
was all like Baron Corbin. It can do what he can do, and that's about it. Matt Riddle, this feud isn't helping anyone. But hey, it is what it is.
No, but I will say I did appreciate the liver kick
Yes,
being essentially the end of a match. Like I
like,
loved his because Matt Riddle's a legit MMA guy, so
Yep.
I love the fact that they were incorporating the way you would get hurt in an MMA match into the WWE. And no, I'm not talking about Raw Underground.
No,
I'm talking like this actually worked for me. I liked that they did that.
Well, the whole finish was cool, where it set up the bro to sleep and all that kind of stuff. It was
Okay,
great.
the bro to sleep would be a lot cooler if it wasn't on King Corbin, because he doesn't know how to bump for anything.
No,
but what is that backflip plancha thingamabobber, the bro flip or whatever
the bro
it's called?
flip? Yeah, it's got the bro over or something. It's great.
That's cool. I like that.
Matt Riddle's great. Like, I really like watching him. But it's a shame it's with King Corbin, because there's only so like the bet. Like, I love King Corbin's like 2 moves and his theme music, and that's it. Everything else, you're like, all right, if you're not.
Yeah, I don't know how he's lasted this long. Honestly,
fair play to him, man. Like,
he's a really smart guy.
But he doesn't look like a bar. At least he doesn't look like a barman anymore. He did for like a long period of time. But like, it is what it is, Oh, here's the thing, right? If your gimmick was a barman, you could like carry weapons with you, so you'd have like a bar blade and use it to cheat.
Okay,
just saying, that'd be a good heel gimmick, but
No. Oh, speaking of things that just popped in my head for no reason. I would go back to the main event for 2 seconds. I hate the fact that Sister Abigail is a throwaway move now.
But that's supposed to be.
No, it's not. It's supposed to be the end all be all. You get hit with Sister Abigail, lights out, match over. I mean, it was set up as the devastating move, and now you're taking out of it constantly.
No, but now the big move is the mandible claw.
Yeah, that's whatever.
Like when, for example, okay. So when Bray Wyatt hits Sister Abigail, that's it. When the Fiend hits Sister Abigail, that's not it. It's the stupid thing that they do where if you do a super kick and you're not Shawn Michaels, you kick out.
Right.
That's what it is. And this is why when people do the super kick, it's like it doesn't make any sense. So yeah, just it is what it is.
All right, it is what it is. Shit, we talked about the tag Keith Lee versus Randy Orton.
I was surprised.
My favorite thing about this match, you were surprised. Like, well, my favorite thing about this match is that because I watched this all out of order and I used the Jump to Match player on the WWE app, the freeze frame that they have of this match is Randy Orton holding Keith Lee in a headlock, and I said, "Wow, this is going to be a great match."
It was not a great match.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. It just wasn't great. The finish was kind of. It was surprising, but it also was kind of like, oh, right. So this gets Keith Lee over, but doesn't. You know,
he can do a lot more athletically that I would have liked to see included, but I don't think they were trying to like spew it all out at once.
I'm getting big Kevin Owens vibes off Keith Lee now, the way they're booking him, where like you'll have a good run and then that'll be it for a while. So it's just like, oh, okay. We'll just...
Do you remember Kevin Owens' match against Cena, the first ridiculously awesome match against Cena that he had, where he did that moonsault, where he was standing on the second rope facing forward, and then he jumped up to the third rope and then did the moonsault off of it, and it was the most insane move that I think the WWE audience had seen in a while from a guy his size. What happened to that?
WWE, man.
What happened to that, man? I missed that. That was a great move.
No, it just is what it is.
Also, where's Kevin Owens?
Just hanging out.
I know he's doing something with McMahon's. I'm not sure what. I read some story.
He's just hanging out. It's the same with like Joe. It's like, oh yeah, you're a commentator because you're injured. Okay, you know.
Owens isn't injured, is he?
No, but he's just hanging out. Like it makes no sense.
Do you think? Do you believe in Keith Lee as a long-term investment, or do you think he's going to be gone in a year or two?
If it wasn't WWE, maybe. But I know Vince is really high up on him and they're giving him a good push, so he has a good chance. But then again, Vince is just like, okay, done now. And he can end up like Garza or whatever, you know, where it's like you were a project for a month and then we let you go. So we just have to see.
Who do you think lasts longer, Riddle or Lee?
Oh, Riddle. Absolutely Riddle. Riddle has a lot more to offer than Keith Lee in the short term. Yeah. And in the long term, you can actually build around him. You can do the same thing with Keith Lee, but you have to handle him carefully because we've seen people like Keith Lee before in the WWE, namely Kevin Owens. Who would be
more of a Bam Bam Bigelow, I would think.
And a Bam Bam Bigelow, exactly. So there is the opportunity to do it, but it's also the opportunity to drop the ball with it. With Matt Riddle,
what do you think happens first? Keith Lee gets fired, or Matt Riddle's forced to wear shoes of some sort?
Oh, shoes! No, what will happen is he'll break his foot. Eventually.
He's going to break, just like with Rusev.
Yeah, he'll break his foot, and that's what he'll be in a ladder match or something like that, and bang, foot broken. But what will happen is the Matt Riddle. I think we have a modern day RVD, where he might not get the push fully, but eventually he will. But he'll be there for the long term. With Keith Lee, it's like if they mess it up, or if they delegitimize his aura and presence, that does so much damage that he won't be able to recover from it. So we'll see. Now I'm hoping both of them do well because I think both of them you could build a company around the two of them. But WWE messes up a lot, so this is something that they could do and something they have done in the past. So I'm always cautiously optimistic, but still the caution is there.
And then I guess this leaves us with the Mysterio son and father versus Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy, or just Murphy now, I guess.
I hate Dominic.
I gotta say, Dominic
is so lame.
Okay, hold on.
So lame.
Okay, here's the thing. Dominic has some cool offense.
He does. And look. I don't want to be mean to the Flurry because it is what it is.
No, you are. You don't even try and pretend.
I'm trying not to be mean to him because it's like he's out living his dream and he's having a good old time and that. But it's like
been in the company since he was like 3.
He looks like a creator wrestler.
Right, you said that. But hold on, hold on.
You know, but he really, really feels like a career wrestler. I'm like, you know, now we've gone from having.
No, I don't think he does.
Oh, he does.
I've
Hold on.
never created a wrestler without muscles.
Oh God. Oh man. Okay, that's and I'm being mean.
I'm just saying.
And I'm being mean. No, it's just he feels
No,
like
he just needs to do like his dad did, do some steroids, get a suspension, come back jacked.
Yeah, you know, maybe wear a mask and you know.
I don't know if he needs to wear a mask.
He does need to wear a mask, man. He does. Come on. Like he's a very small Kevin Nash insult.
What? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a small Kevin Nash insult, and it's like, I'm like, oh man, like he.
I mean, there's a reason he's wearing chest armor, and it's not because it looks cool as a design.
It doesn't look cool either. It looks really lame.
Well, I mean, it's better than without. It's better with. Was it you that sent me the like father like son meme?
Yes. Yeah. Was it
with him and Eddie Guerrero doing the frog?
He does the frog splash really well, though.
Yeah, I mean, Sasha does it better, but he does it okay.
But I'm just like, my big thing
I do like his 619. With two things about it. A, have you noticed he does it to the opposite side that Ray does?
Yes.
And he also, I love his out of the ring variation.
He does it so much better than Ray because he follows it up with the frog splash, which is a much better finish. Because the way he does, like, I always hated when Ray would do it because he did a stupid body drop, and that looks absolutely terrible.
Or he'd do the seated senton, in which you have to wait for your opponent to get back up.
Yeah,
and it's like, well, they've recovered.
They've recovered, exactly. It's like you're not capitalized on it. So it's
no, your power meter is like going.
Exactly, yeah. So at least when he does it, it's like, oh, this is the way you probably should have done it all the time. But anyway,
what I wanted to say was he has great offense. He just doesn't sell very well.
He doesn't sell very well. He's not believable.
I mean, he sells great when he's getting like demolished with kendo sticks. Don't get me wrong.
That's because he's getting demolished with kendo sticks.
Right. I'm saying with Real Pain, he sells great.
Yeah, it's like if you actually hurt him, he sells. But that's not the point of being a wrestler.
No. Wait, this is all constructive criticism, by the way. I actually think Dominic Mysterio could stay around for a little bit.
Look, he can stay around. Just not as Dominic Mysterio. Like, it's very intimidating. It's not very intimidating when the commentator's like, go get him, Dom. It's like, okay. Like, be a character. Like, this is the problem with my dad actually said it to me in the car yesterday because Triple H apparently retired, which he did not. That's fake news. And he's like, there's no character wrestlers anymore. I'm like, yeah, right.
Baffled as to how you got a Triple H reference into the show. Just baffled.
And it's just there's no character wrestlers anymore. I'm like, yeah, there's very few. If like literally, I think the Fiend is probably the only one, and the rest of them, you know.
But this is this card. I mean, you got Matt Riddle is
Matt Riddle's just Matt Riddle, man. Like, you know.
All right. What about King Corbin?
King Corbin's a barman with a crown.
Well, that's a character.
It's not a character because he didn't lean into it. I'm telling you, if they gave him a bar blade and his whole thing was he'd snakily take out a bottle and hit them with it.
I'm really searching, so clearly you're right because I am like I'm pulling at straws here.
It's very difficult to do that. It's very difficult now to actually do that, and that's the problem, right? So it's the same thing. Like to do it's the same thing when you go see a band play, right? And they give you the best band in the world, particularly in metal, and the lads are up there and they're playing, but they're just lads in t-shirts and jeans. There's no show, right? Now, there can be...
That is King Corbin.
No, but there can be a crutch, right, where you rely too much on the show and there's no substance. And what I think it's a similar thing here, where there's no difference between the person and the wrestler, you know, and it's something that they could lean into. And Dominic Mysterio, 9 times out of 10, it's fine with Keith Lee and Matt Riddle and guys who are already there, right, and established. Same with AJ Styles, right? With Dominic Mysterio, he is Dominic Mysterio. And that's it. He's the son of Eddie Guerrero He's the son
of kayfabe lives.
Kayfabe lives. He's the son of Rey Mysterio, allegedly.
But
And
that's the whole angle they could do. There's no way anybody
yeah,
would remember
there's
it.
no
But
way. Yeah, exactly. But that's it. That's all he's been introduced as. That's
they
all that
need
we
to.
know
Why
about
do
him.
you use the frog splash? Well, it's in honor of my dad, and then you get the Dominic versus
Exactly.
Ray Ray
Exactly.
feud.
Brought back. Yeah. It's just I think if
Will we get
yeah,
that? We're gonna get that, right? Dominic versus Ray.
well, I'd say so. And if they do
Yeah.
it that way, that would actually kind of make him because now he's just comes. It's like bring your son to school day, so your son to work, and that's what it
Right.
feels like.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
why is he there? Like it's just because I don't buy him as a wrestler. I don't buy him as anything other than you know one of the wrestler's kids, and that's
He's just
bad.
green. He just needs to bulk
No,
up. And oh my god, I
honestly,
sound like freaking JR, but he just needs to bulk up and learn how to sell a little bit more and
you know what would be better for him at this point?
figure out some charisma.
Go to Japan,
Go to
go to
Japan.
Mexico,
Yeah.
and work the indies for a couple of years, and then because
Go.
it's not like WWE are going to be like, yeah, no. He should just say, look, I need to go learn how to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
Go off, get yourself a cool gimmick, come in, go to Japan for 2 years, come back, you'll be a monster, and then there you go. Doing it this way, I don't see anything long term. And
Japan will toughen you up, but I mean, even AAA or CMLL down in Mexico, that would give you a lot of
big palette,
lucha training. Yeah,
a big palette to learn. Exactly. Even go hang out with Lance Storm for a while.
Well,
like
we don't want to be that vanilla.
no, no. I mean, like with improving in the ring and selling and stuff.
I know. I got you.
It's just, I feel really sorry for him because he's getting this way too soon, and it's going to be the overall impression that people are getting, where it's like, man, you're not there yet, and even if you are there, you're there as Rey Mysterio's kid, but there's nothing else.
I
Like,
thought
where
he
do
did a
you
lot
go
of stuff
from that?
great, though. I mean, it wasn't.
No, see, this is why it's all constructive criticism. It's just like, it's WWE, man. They're not giving, like, they should have just said, look, we'll do this angle and then we'll take you off for a while. We'll have you written off screen, come back in, do a massive heel turn, or you're this crazy lucha wrestler or whatever. Even dress him up like a Power Ranger and tell him to come out because he's skinny enough to be one. It's just, but they won't do that, and he'll be gone by the end of the year. That's my prediction. Gone by the end of the year.
Seth Rollins was great.
Yeah, he needs to drop that Messiah gimmick though.
Oh,
I'm very sick of it now at this point.
Can we take a hard break and just move on to good wrestling?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, like this is it. This is why we do rewind shows, because WWE
you guys are
shows
welcome for the last 5 minutes of us just not at all liking this. But at the same time, like, I did enjoy seeing this wrestling. There was some really cool stuff that did happen. I just felt like it was a glorified SmackDown. So as a pay-per-view, I give it a 4 or 5 out of 10. I don't know where Garrett is. I don't know how many tabs he took in order to give this an 8 out of 10.
How about this?
Yeah, how about this?
As a pay-per-view, I would give it a 5 out of 10.
All right, well, there we go.
As a show, I would give it 8 out of 10 because I enjoyed it from what I saw. But WWE, please build your pay-per-views. Please build it like it's a pay-per-view and not just a random show for no reason that makes no sense.
Here's what I understand. I don't understand how I liked this show more than you did, but you think it was a better show than I thought it was. That's what I gleaned from our whole conversation.
No, what I liked about it was
getting pizza was apparently your favorite part of this whole show.
No, my favorite part of the show was when I go to bed after it. That's why I like going to bed at 2:30. That's what pizza is great all the time, but you usually get, good pizza is not going to make a show better. That's just going to make it tolerable. But yeah, no, being able to go to bed at 2:30 is really good, particularly when I have work the next day in a video shoot. So yeah, man, that's what I got to say about it. If this had been 4 hours, I probably would have kicked my TV down the street. Because no. Please don't do that to me again, WWE. Right, we're going to take a break, and when we get back, we're going to talk about something good. So, guys, we'll see you after this.